Who do you compare yourself to?
It's day 2 of the Susan Rice Charm Tour, as I listen to poker analogies here. The UN ambassador was back on the Hill today, meeting with more senators, trying to win over her critics before potential nomination as Secretary of State. Well, yesterday's, didn't go too good.
I'm more disturbed now than I was before.
We are significantly troubled by many of the answers that we got.
And it didn't get a lot better today.
I would need to have additional information before I could support her nomination. She's not been posted yet. Our Homeland Security Committee investigation is ongoing. There are many different players in this, and there's much yet to be learned.
And that's Susan Collins from Maine, the outgoing Republican senator. Actually, that's Libby Snow, I'm sorry. You got Senator Bob Corker, another Republican, presumptive next Republican leader on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. He's getting a fist pump from Tom here. He said that Rice is too political and that, quote, I think she'd be an outstanding head of the Democratic National Committee. Now, Ambassador Rice has received strong criticism from some Senate Republicans, like you just heard, who said she misled the American public about the Benghazi consulate attack, because 5 days after the attack, she went on Sunday morning TV and said the attack spontaneous, sparked by an anti-Muslim video, not a premeditated attack. But some might see the Republican outrage as a little bit of political posturing. Senator Joe Lieberman, normally lockstep here with his good buddies, both Graham and McCain, well, he did not see eye to eye with them, and he met with Rice yesterday, and he seemed to distance himself from that crowd.
The intelligence community changed its opinion, and so did she.
Okay, now, we've seen a lot of McCain and Graham this week. Now, my question, though, is, where else did we hear from them? And when were they stating their willingness to break the Norquist pledge and raise tax revenues, or is that just a coincidence? Remember this from earlier.
I will violate the pledge, long story short, for the good of the country, only if Democrats will do entitlement reform.
We can do plenty of things to eliminate these. In fact, and two other things. One is things like a limit on the amount of deduction of charitable giving, a limit on the amount you can take on your home loan mortgage deduction.
Okay, here's my thing.
What did that have to do with Rice?
I'll tell you exactly what it has to do. All right. I think there's always been a game of CYA in every capital, but especially in Washington, they've made it in art form. Is it just a coincidence that Lindsey Graham and McCain, who are the guys coming out saying basically Norquist can go where you know where he can go, and that we're going to have to put maybe tax rates on the table here, that they're the strongest ones banging on Susan Rice?
This is a diversion somehow?
I think there's a little bit of CYA.
So you think that John McCain, who's well into his 70s and just got reelected...
Oh, please. Let's not make him a maverick from 10 years ago. He's done a lot of things in the last 8 years.
No, I'm not making him a maverick. I'm just saying is that you think he's worried about his next election in Arizona?
I think he's done a lot of things that are different from the John McCain I knew from 10 years ago.
I didn't ask that question. I think that the John McCain now is slightly, but I bet you his record in voting record is as conservative today as it was 15 years ago. He speaks a little bit more farther to the right after he ran for president. But the point is about Rice.
Let me at least articulate what my big problem is that's going on. Okay. From all I've heard about Susan Rice, she might be competent, she may be, but she's rubbed a bunch of people the wrong way. From what I hear, Hillary ain't her biggest fan. When she was during the campaign, when she was certainly with Obama, she certainly rubbed more than a few elbows here. Okay.
This isn't about her, though. It's about John Kerry.
Time out.
This is about John Kerry.
Time out. And that's the other thing.
This is get her out there. We know that we can't get her through.
Oh,
there's going to be a lot of problems there.
Well, and now you stuck his neck out for her like you did.
Great. Okay, that's great. It's great. He's supporting his woman. He's supporting his gal. She's there. And now ultimately, the guy who is there, well, his woman, whatever. I mean, I'm a boy. The point is that this ultimately will lead the road where Republicans who normally wouldn't have been, hey, John Kerry, it's going to be, put Senator Kerry right in there. And that's what it's going to turn out to be.
I don't think he would have expended this capital on
Susan
Rice.
Capital? He just got reelected. At the press conference. Listen, he's supporting his party. He's being loyal.
This is so flippin' phony, though. The woman read talking points. She should have gone out on the Sunday talk show. I grant you all that.
Right.
But now all of a sudden, she's supposed to not trust intelligence reports. And here's the other one that drives me nuts. Morell from the CIA. Yeah. Apparently McCain loved the guy. He comes with Susan Rice to the meeting and says, Senator, we put out the report. She read the talking points we gave her. Right. This is what we knew at the time, and this is what we didn't want to tip off Al-Qaeda or whatever about. You shouldn't jump her. Now all of a sudden Morell doesn't meet McCain's standards. They're shooting the messenger here. There's legitimate questions about Benghazi, but what they're doing right now, I don't think plays well for them. But more importantly,
here's another question. Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here's another question. Didn't Hillary Clinton accept ultimate responsibility for all of this? Didn't she?
She's leaving.
So wait.
She's leaving.
Wait. So why aren't Republicans going after her? Why does she get a pass?
She's leaving.
It's a fair question, Tom.
Why does she get a pass?
Because
we know the answer.
Because she didn't go on TV and spout all this nonsense.
No, she gets a pass. She gets a pass because Republicans.
Why is the president getting the pass?
Because Republicans know that they can't take her on.
You're kidding.
Because if you take on the Clintons, you're going to lose. So you go after a much easier target.
That's ridiculous. She's the one who was put on the Sunday morning news programs. I don't think she should have been put out there. Why was she? The Secretary of State or the Director of the CIA should have been out there. One of those two people should have been out there.
But here's the question I think
that would have been the right thing.
Here's the question I think most reasonable people
would
have.
have the same answers.
If she repeated talking points from the intelligence community, what's the great conspiracy? What's the great crime? What did she do that was so wrong?
I don't know. You have to ask the president why they gave us those talking points when everybody in the world knew from moment one it wasn't
no. Well, why
was a video?
Why are Republican senators going after her like this then?
Well, they'd like to know what the facts are. That's all. We've only been asking for the facts from moment one.
Oh, the facts.
I can answer
well,
that
why now, Dominic? Why now, after the election, is Benghazi now of an interest to you when before the election, Benghazi was no story? Now all of a sudden it's a story.
Well, that's the thing. It's still not a story. It's the Republican reaction to it that's trying to.
It's not a story.
It's really not that big a deal in the general scope of things. For Dead Americans, tragic,
because nobody's talking about it.
And I feel bad about it.
An ambassador
that pales
died
in comparison to the number of contractors, to the number of workers, to the number of soldiers that we've had killed under previous administrations and previous foreign policy debacles.
And we've debated that forever.
And if you go through the last 4 years, what were the attacks on Obama's foreign policy? That this Libya strategy wasn't going to work, and then it worked. That all of a sudden he's not being hard enough in terms of supporting the allies.
That his Cairo strategy worked?
We had a revolution in Cairo.
And that's working real well right now.
That's easy to do Monday morning.
That's working real well. We said that from day one. Put the Muslim Brotherhood in charge and you got real problems.
For me, the thing that I expect more out of McCain and more out of Lindsey Graham, who's a former JAG guy, right, is I'd like to know 6 months before Benghazi was attacked, who complained about security, how many times was this place targeted, and how many other embassies like this in the Middle East are not safe right now. That's what those guys, if they love the military, and I believe they do, and they love people in uniform and people representing this country in harm's way, that's what they should be talking about. Not who said what on Sunday morning from what piece of paper. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. And it's like high school because you didn't say sorry well enough in a meeting. Now all of a sudden they're holding a grudge. It's so small right now with so many big things. If you want to bang on Benghazi, but let God go for it. But there's bigger stuff they should be asking about than what she said from what piece of paper on Sunday morning on TV 5 days later. It seems petty to me.
The complaints about Benghazi didn't pass the smell test, so they think there's a cover-up and they're looking for something else.
There's legitimate questions about it. I think the wrong ones are being asked. All right. When we come back, though, this is a debate we had this morning, and I don't know who's going to fall on which side of it when we do. Cops on camera. New Supreme Court non-decision will allow people like you out there to film cops while they're on the job. Well, this going to lead to better or worse policing? And I don't think it's as easy an answer as many of you at home think it will. Stay with us.